Hey everyone, Larry Bailey, Mortgage Workflow Partners. We are live today, Mastering Encompass, August 22nd, 2023. It is Partner Appreciation Month, and that means that we're going to talk to awesome partners. Elena's on. She's one of our awesome partners with Lodestar. For everyone else rolling in, you know the deal. We try to meet every Tuesday here at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. at Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll get my act together. And we talk about all things Encompass. So the purpose of these meetings obviously is to get together as a community. So before we get into today's partner that we want to learn more about, who is Joe Rodriguez, who I'll give an introduction to as soon as he gets over here. He's joining soon from the big POS. Before we do that, does anyone have any questions? Earlier today, I posted some updates. I got an email on which I realized everyone doesn't get those emails. I didn't get them directly for the longest time. Fortunately, now it kind of works. So we had some 23.2 pre-release notes or release notes pre-review, or I don't know how they call it. I think it's the preview release notes. Anyway, for the GSE integration and for the TPO. And if you hadn't had a chance to look at that, if you do any TPO, I know Amy's on vacation, so Katie, if you're using enhanced conditions, it is the bee's knees. Joe, welcome. I'm inviting you as a speaker. But TPO Connect is getting some much needed love on supporting enhanced conditions. For those that don't know, if you were using enhanced conditions on TPO Connect, you had this big thing that you had to go through to basically, hey, Joe, you basically had to, if you wanted the condition to be tied to the document, which some companies do, I don't necessarily subscribe to that workflow, but it's okay if you do. Effectively, with enhanced conditions, currently, you have to create the document before you can associate the condition in TPO Connect, blah, blah, blah. It's very messy. So ICE recognized that, and ICE is fixing that with the 23.3, which is super awesome for those that have been holding back on going through enhanced conditions. And on that regard, I do want to make sure for those that have been following me, last week was the Partner Advisory Board. Mortgage Workflow Partners is one of the 10. Great, Elena, you got a question? I want to let me know if you want to speak it out or if you just want to text. But Partner Advisory Board, we met with all of the senior folks that are at ICE, who are the developers and programmers and product owners. We also had a chance to meet with Tim, who's the president of ICE Mortgage Technology. And I can tell you, I came out of that meeting supercharged. I want to do a full walkthrough of the notes there. Some point I'll do it this week, like a live thing in case you're interested. But basically, you've got to get, like I've been saying now for months, probably close to a year, you've got to get on board with all the API tech. That's what Joe's going to talk about with the big POS, especially with what's coming out here very soon, later this year with, Joe, you got to keep me honest, I think it's like API V2 or something, but basically the docs are opening up, barcodes are opening, like really, really super big stuff for those companies that have API integrations. Before we get there, Elena, you had two questions. One about surveys, and then two, your list provider and the SSPL. So so basically, Elena asked a question in the community if you wouldn't mind providing an idea. Elena, do you want to ask the question? Just want to come up on stage and ask the question? I'm going to butcher your question. Here, I'll invite you as a speaker. You're invited. So while Elena's coming up, Luba says, if we have time, can we talk about how or if you have a process map for your mortgage process? So Luba's question is what I always ask when we come on to assist with Encompass implementation or any type of troubleshooting workflow. I ask one basic question is, do you have your workflow documented? And so Luba's asking, what do you use if you do that? What do you use? I can tell you Lucid Chart is an easy one. Joe, Elena, you guys have any vibe on this? Like what you're using or you've seen clients use to map out their workflow?
Our CS team uses Figma.
Figma?
Yeah, they really like that on the design side. I personally use Canva for any of that stuff, but that's just because that's what I'm used to.
Okay. All right. Joe, you have an opinion on mapping out workflows? You're on mute, Joe. I want to hear what you're saying. Let's see if we can get the audio figured out. Oh no. All right. So Luba, you ever heard of Figma, or have you tried something that's failed? That's a better question. So while Luba's chatting that up, for everybody else, listen, this is.
Yeah, can you hear me?
There we go. You're good, Joe. All right.
There we go.
So anything you've seen mapped out process-wise?
I was using Visio for a while, but it's pretty technical, right? I think you have to get really used to it, but it does work well. I'm a huge fan of Lucid as well. I think it's very user-friendly and pretty cheap. So yeah, it's been my go-to.
I will say, if you get Visio on the web, so not the full bloatware product, but Visio on the web is actually really close to Lucid.
Yep.
And if you have an O365 subscription, you already have it. Now, Luba, I know you guys are Google people, and so I know you don't have an option for that, but
Libby says Google Charts, if I remember correctly, or something.
Google Charts?
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Figma, you can use, there's a free version if you wanted to test it out, Luba. You can have, I think, up to like 3 boards before trying it, or before paying for it. I'm also a huge fan of, it's lame, but like getting everybody in a room, doing sticky notes on a wall, and then actually mapping it out, because you can then move the sticky notes from one part of the process to the other, and then putting that in a digital format. It's time consuming for sure, and like if you're remote workers, it's a little difficulty. But we found that things could actually be in different places that we wouldn't have thought of in a digital format.
Love it. Thank you very much for that, Elena. Value Steam Map, Chris Lawrence shouts out. So listen, just because I've got to give a 5-minute, we usually do like this 5-minute cutoff on social platforms. So if you want to watch the rest of this and you want to find out more about the big POS, which Joe's going to walk us through, and why the big POS is who you want to go to, at least for a demonstration, I'll let them show you what the heck, why it's, my opinion, way better than any other platform out there, including Simple Nexus or Blend or any other POS you can name. And Joe's going to tell you why. So make sure you get over to mortgage.community and check out the replay.